Picture this setup from the sources we're diving into today. On one side, you have a recent grad from a top-tier university, like, say, UCLA.
Right, someone who did everything they were supposed to do.
Exactly. They followed every rule, did everything right, and now they are folding burritos for minimum wage, sharing a tiny apartment with 4 roommates, and just totally suffocating under student debt.
It's a rough picture.
It is. But then on the flip side, you have a 50-year-old medical doctor.
The absolute pinnacle of the traditional, safe path.
Right, the safest path possible. Yet this guy is getting into a beat-up 1998 Toyota just to afford his final medical school loan payments.
It really just shatters the illusion completely. I mean, when you look at those two extremes, it becomes glaringly obvious that the traditional economic script we've all been handed is, well, it's fundamentally broken.
Yeah, completely broken.
Because if the supposed guaranteed path leaves a highly educated professional struggling at 50, the rules of the game have clearly changed.
And that realization is exactly what drove the creators in our source material to basically abandon the traditional route. They uncovered a completely different economic reality.
Selling digital products and software online.
Yes, but we aren't just talking about a little side hustle here to, make a quick buck. This specific business model has generated tens of millions of dollars.
And the wild part is that thanks to AI, the barrier to entry, both technical and financial, has essentially evaporated.
It is essentially zero.
Right. It's a total paradigm shift. Historically, the friction between having an idea in your head and putting a fully functioning monetized product into the global marketplace was massive.
You needed engineers, capital, months of time.
Exactly. And now that friction is just gone.
Which brings us to the mission of our deep dive today. We are going to dissect the exact blueprints these creators are using to build wildly profitable digital products and software companies in mere minutes.
It's going to be fascinating.
We'll look at the mindset, the specific AI tools, the exact prompts they use, and how they drive traffic without ever putting their actual faces on camera. So, okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
Because looking through these sources, the very first thing that jumps out is that the traditional creation-first mindset of business is totally backward.
Oh, completely. The instinct for most people is to look inward, right? You ask yourself, like, what am I passionate about? What are my unique hobbies?
Right.
And then you spend 6 months building a course or an app based on that internal passion. After all that work, you finally take it to the market and just pray someone wants to buy it.
Build it and they will come.
Yeah, and it is an incredibly slow, expensive, and just failure-prone methodology.
So instead, it's essentially digital arbitrage.
Yeah.
You aren't inventing the raw material or starting from scratch. You're using AI to refine the crude oil of existing market demand into, like, high-octane, highly specific solutions.
The sources call this AI product arbitrage.
Right. You start with what people are already pulling out their credit cards for in evergreen niches, health, wealth, relationships.
But the nuance there is in the specificity. The psychology of a search query is everything. Like, a generic query like how to get fit is useless to you.
Because that person is just browsing.
Exactly. But someone searching how to lose 15 pounds before my wedding in the next 8 weeks, that is an acute, highly specific pain point.
Tied to a strict deadline.
Right. That person is desperate for a targeted solution.
But wait, even if someone searches for that, how do you know they'll actually pay for your version of the solution? Because if I'm not testing the market first, I'm just guessing.
Which brings us right back to the failure-prone build it and pray model.
Right. So the pre-build validation phase is totally non-negotiable. And the sources detail 2 really fascinating, completely free methods to validate demand before you generate a single line of code or text.
The first one is called the AI listening pass.
And I found the mechanics of this brilliant. It's like being a mind reader, but instead of a crystal ball, you're just reading the 3-star Amazon reviews of your competitors to find out exactly what's missing.
That's a great way to put it. You aren't just reading comments, though. You are processing data at scale.
So you go to YouTube, find the top performing videos in that highly specific niche, and you scrape like 50 to 100 of the top comments.
And feed that raw data into an AI model like Claude.
Right, but you aren't just asking it what people are talking about. You are prompting the AI to run a pattern recognition analysis on the emotional phrasing.
Yes, the most repeated, painful problems. That emotional phrasing is the key.
Why is that so crucial?
Because Claude will analyze those 100 comments and identify the exact vocabulary your potential customers use when they are frustrated. You are extracting the precise language of their pain.
Wow.
So when you eventually build your landing page, you use those exact words. The customer reads it and thinks, this person is in my head.
It's like having a direct feed into the consumer subconscious. And then the second method they use is the demand signal rule on Instagram.
This one is super clever.
Yeah. You find accounts in your target niche that have a modest following, maybe a few thousand people. Then you scan their reels or posts to find the outliers.
You're looking for a post that has at least double the views compared to the account's total follower count.
That ratio is a pure, undeniable demand signal.
Right, exactly. If an account has 5,000 followers, but a specific video has 15,000 views, the algorithm is explicitly telling you that the broader, non-follower audience is just ravenous for that specific micro-topic.
So when you find 5 or 10 of those outlier posts across different accounts and identify the common denominator, the market has just validated your product idea.
And you haven't spent a dime, but you know the demand exists.
So the market hands us the blueprints. The problem is identified. Now we transition to the actual execution. And this is where the sources get into some staggering territory.
Yeah, this is where it gets crazy.
We are talking about literally prompting a software business into existence. There's a massive case study in the material about a creator running a company called Allen AI.
Which is doing over $500,000 a month in revenue.
$500,000 a month.
Right. And the scale of that operation is impressive. But what's more important is how they build their internal tools. They demonstrated rebuilding one of their core digital product generating tools from scratch in under 5 minutes.
Under 5 minutes.
Using a no-code AI builder called Base 44.
And it's actually brilliant from a marketing standpoint, too, because the source doesn't just explain this Base 44 tool in a vacuum.
No, they use it as a lead magnet.
Right, offering a free $500 masterclass and a discount link to capture their own audience while teaching the method. It's a meta example of the exact sales funnel we're talking about.
It's very smart.
But let's look at the actual technical mechanics. Because building a SaaS tool that generates dynamic PDFs used to take a dev team and thousands of dollars. Here, they did it with 4 text prompts.
4 prompts. Because the underlying mechanism here is that the AI in Base 44 is acting as a translator between natural human language and complex backend code.
Okay, let's walk through exactly how those 4 prompts bridge that gap.
Sure.
Prompt number 1 is the core product builder. The creator types plain English instructions. Build an app where a user enters a topic, selects a format like an ebook or checklist, chooses the length, and hits generate.
And behind the scenes, the AI writes the front-end interface, connects a text input field to a large language model API, and sets up a function that formats the API's response into a downloadable PDF.
All from one sentence.
All from one sentence. And it generates real, usable content based on the user's input, not just placeholder text.
That's insane. But raw data on a white page isn't a premium product.
No, to charge money for it, you need perceived value, which is entirely about presentation.
Which brings us to prompt 2, branding. The creator tells the AI to add a style section. The user can upload a brand name, a logo, and pick color schemes.
And they use these evocative, specific color names in the prompt.
Like forest green or warm coral.
Right. And the AI writes the CSS code to dynamically apply these hex codes and logos to the final PDF layout.
So suddenly, this generic document has a beautifully designed cover, colored section dividers, matching typography. It looks bespoke.
The value of the product instantly multiplies. In the modern digital economy, the data itself is commoditized. The value lies in the packaging.
That makes a lot of sense.
That single branding prompt takes seconds to write, but it elevates a free-looking document into a $47 premium asset.
Okay, then we hit prompt 3, the storefront.
Generating the landing page.
Right. The creator prompts Base 44 to generate a hero section, a headline, placeholder testimonials, a sample product preview, and a pricing tier.
And the AI instantly generates the HTML and the layout for a slick, modern sales page.
And finally, prompt 4 integrates the actual monetization. They instruct the AI to add a Stripe checkout page.
Yes, the AI pulls in the necessary API hooks to connect the storefront to a payment gateway, ensuring the user is charged that $47 before the server allows the PDF download to trigger.
And if a button doesn't work, you don't go hunting through lines of JavaScript. You just write a 5th prompt telling the AI that the checkout button is broken, and it debugs its own code.
It's wild.
But let's pump the brakes here for a second. Here's where it gets really interesting, but also a bit hard to believe. If you could literally build a full app with 4 prompts and charge $47 a pop, why isn't everyone making $3,000 a month doing this? Is it just a magic button?
That is the most critical question to ask, and it reveals the true nature of this new economy. Code is no longer a moat.
Right.
Software is completely commoditized. If you can build it in 5 minutes, so can anyone else. The defense against cloning isn't in the tech.
Where is it then?
It's in the empathy and the distribution.
So you're saying the magic isn't the app itself?
Precisely. The AI removes the technical barrier, but the business barrier remains entirely intact.
Oh, I see.
1,000 people might clone the tool, but they haven't done the deep validation to find the hyper-specific niche. They don't know the exact emotional phrasing of the exhausted night shift nurse looking for a routine.
They don't have the audience.
Right. They don't have the distribution channels or the trusted brand presence, execution, audience capture, and targeted messaging. Those are the real moats now.
Wow. Okay, so static SaaS built with Base 44 are one level. But what blew my mind in these sources was how creators are pushing this down to the microeconomy level, specifically on marketplaces like Etsy, and scaling the complexity of what they generate.
It's a volume game.
Yeah, we're talking about interactive apps competing with established products.
Everyday creators are using AI to dominate it. And again, they don't guess what to sell.
They validate.
Exactly. They use analytics tools like Listing View to filter through like hundreds of millions of product listings to find exactly what digital downloads are currently driving the highest revenue.
And the first example from the sources was resume templates. People are making up to $84,000 a year selling simple $3 digital resume templates.
But they aren't designing these from scratch.
No. They use a technique called reverse prompting. And the mechanics of this are wild.
Walk us through it.
So you take a screenshot of a best-selling Etsy resume and paste that image into an AI like Claude.
And you aren't asking Claude to just copy the text. You are asking its vision model to deconstruct the structural elements of that layout.
The hierarchy, the font pairings, the use of negative space.
Right. You ask Claude to write a system prompt that encapsulates all those design rules.
Then you feed that new, highly detailed prompt into Claude Design, and it builds a dynamic tool where you can infinitely generate unique, customized templates based on those winning principles.
It's incredibly efficient.
And to sell them, you use a tool like Raw Pixel to map these digital templates onto high-resolution, photorealistic mock-ups of textured paper sitting on a wooden desk.
Because the psychology of the mock-up is vital.
Oh, really? How so?
Well, the buyer intellectually knows they are purchasing a digital file, but visually presenting it as a tangible object triggers a different perception of value. It grounds the digital artifact in reality.
That makes total sense. But static templates are just the ground floor. The second product example took this into interactive software, a sinking funds budget tracker.
Right.
A creator used Claude Design to build an incredibly complex financial application. It wasn't just a spreadsheet. It had interactive UI features, real-time pie charts that update as you type, color toggles, and a dynamic goal tracker for a $15,000 Tokyo trip.
And the technical bridge here is fascinating. Claude Design doesn't just give you a picture of an app, it generates the raw functional code artifacts.
The HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Exactly.
Right, and the crazy part is how they host it. The creator exports this functional code directly into Canva.
Canva.
Yeah, Canva essentially acts as a front-end hosting platform, allowing this complex interactive web app to live as a functioning site.
That is so clever.
These creators are bypassing traditional web hosting entirely, offering a seamless app-like experience to the consumer. And they are competing against basic Excel spreadsheets that are already pulling in $13,000 a month.
Because you are providing massive value through modernization. You are taking the core utility of a spreadsheet and upgrading the user experience exponentially.
So what does this all mean? This is essentially digital real estate flipping. You find an ugly house or a basic spreadsheet, you use AI to renovate it into a gorgeous interactive app in 10 minutes and list it for sale.
That is a perfect analogy.
But the sources highlight a third product that bridges into the physical world: pattern pressed apparel.
This is where multiple AI models are chained together in an automated pipeline.
So you start with Claude Design to build a custom text pattern press tool. It's a web app where a user types a word and the bold text is filled with a unique pattern.
But to generate the raw patterns themselves, the creator jumps over to an image generator like Midjourney.
Right. They use specific technical prompts like adding the parameter dash dash tile along with vector art style flower pattern.
And that tile parameter is the secret sauce.
What does it do?
It forces the AI to generate an image where the edges perfectly match up, creating a seamless, infinitely repeating graphic.
Wow. So you plug those seamless AI graphics into your AI build text tool, and suddenly you have an assembly line generating hundreds of unique design assets.
Which you can sell as digital PNG files to other designers, or push them directly via API to a print-on-demand service like Printify.
So when a customer buys on Etsy, Printify prints the physical t-shirt and ships it. The creator never touches inventory.
It never touches a single shirt.
And they are pulling up to $27,000 a month orchestrating this pipeline.
Because the creator is no longer the laborer, they are the manager of an AI workforce. The AI models are literally talking to each other to produce the final asset.
But if you're sitting there wondering why you can't just generate 1,000 of these products, dump them onto Amazon KDP, and call it a day looking at the sources, that appears to be a massive trap.
Oh, it is the ultimate trap of the platform economy. Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing seems appealing because of the built-in audience, right?
Right.
But when you sell on Amazon, you are a tenant, not an owner.
You're giving up all your leverage. You don't get the customer's email address, you don't control the ultimate pricing structure, and your account can be suspended overnight.
Completely out of your control.
Plus, as the sources explicitly point out, KDP is currently drowning in a flood of low-effort AI-generated spam faster than Amazon's moderation can handle it. You are fighting for visibility in a swamp.
So the strategic imperative is to build an asset you control. You need an independent storefront where you capture the customer data and own the relationship.
Which means you have to drive your own traffic.
Exactly.
And the engine these creators are using is short-form video reels, TikToks, shorts. But the strategy isn't just posting randomly. It ties directly back to that acute validation we talked about earlier.
Hyperspecificity.
Yes. You make 7-second videos that speak only to the highly specific pain point. If your product helps exhausted night shift nurses wake up at 5 a.m. without feeling destroyed, you do not make generic videos about morning productivity hacks.
Because generalities kill conversion. When you create an ultra-specific video, the algorithm acts as a homing missile.
Really? How so?
It analyzes the watch time and engagement, and it ruthlessly seeks out the exact demographics suffering from that specific problem. By the time a viewer clicks the link in your bio, they are entirely self-qualified.
And here is where the concept of being a creator gets completely turned on its head. You don't ever need to show your face to drive this traffic.
That's the most fascinating part of all this.
Our sources highlighted a creator making $80,000 a month selling $50 ebooks, the face of the brand. It's an AI-generated, highly realistic avatar of an Asian monk.
Right.
The actual human founder is completely anonymous. The algorithm doesn't care that the monk isn't real. The customer doesn't care. The only thing that demands your real face beyond camera is your own ego.
It completely separates personal identity from business utility. You are selling a solution, and you are packaging it in whatever avatar best communicates authority and trust for that specific niche.
But inevitably, someone listening is going to look at this entire ecosystem, scraping YouTube comments, reverse prompting Etsy bestsellers, using AI to clone software features and ask, isn't this just sophisticated stealing?
It's a valid ethical reflex, for sure. But from a pure market mechanics standpoint, it is modeling, not copying.
Modeling.
Yes. Think about the physical economy. Apple did not invent the smartphone. They modeled existing PDA concepts and perfected the interface. Tesla didn't invent the electric car. They modeled the existing technology and changed the packaging and performance.
Right. You aren't stealing someone's specific intellectual property. You are looking at a validated human desire and changing the angle and the positioning.
Exactly.
You aren't selling generic budget tips. You're selling the Sinking Funds interactive tracker for Tokyo vacations. It's the same foundational financial math, but the packaging is an interactive Claude app instead of a boring PDF.
And that targeted positioning is what allows you to charge premium prices. When AI drives the cost and friction of creation down to absolute zero, the product itself is no longer the main event.
So what is?
The entire value of a modern business shifts entirely to distribution, your ability to command attention and empathy. Your ability to deeply understand and speak to a customer's nuanced problem better than the competition.
It fundamentally rewires how we need to think about career security and value creation.
It really does.
The path out of the 9-to-5 grind, the way to avoid being that 50-year-old professional still chained to student debt, isn't necessarily acquiring another expensive credential.
No, it's about identifying a hungry market signal, leveraging AI tools to build a flawless solution in a single afternoon.
Whether it's a PDF, a Canva site, or a Base 44 app.
Exactly. And engineering a traffic engine that puts the exact right message in front of the exact right audience. It requires no permission gatekeepers, no traditional technical background, and virtually zero capital.
But it absolutely requires the courage to execute, to rigorously validate the demand, and to launch the product into the real world before you feel perfectly ready.
That's the hardest part for most people.
Yeah, it leaves us with a truly wild scenario to consider as we wrap this up. If AI makes the cost of generating a perfect product and a flawless software storefront exactly zero, well, let me rephrase that. If AI makes the cost of creating a perfect product zero, what happens when every single micro-niche pain point on the internet has a flawless AI solution?
That's the ultimate question.
Right. In a world where flawless execution is free, will the only currency left be pure human trust and personality? And even crazier, will we even care if that personality is just a highly curated AI avatar?